Continue to press your lower back into the mat as you exhale and aim your tailbone to the mat as you inhale, and feel your shoulders opening nice and wide. A nice tip I was given a long time ago is have your palms face up when you set yourself up, and it really helps you naturally open up your shoulders and your chest, and you can almost feel those shoulder blades flattening out from underneath you. And keep your gaze straight towards the ceiling, just like I am. And then find your neutral spine. So a lot of people press down like this. I'm going to exaggerate a little and lift my hips. You don't want to do that. And sometimes I see more of an arch like this. You want to find that connection as if you could feel the back of your head connected to the earth. Feel all of your ribs spreading wide into the mat, and find that place on your sacrum where you're balanced. So there is a tiny space in the small of your back that's lifted, but not so much that you wouldn't be balanced on your sacrum. So a good test for this, let's bring your right leg up into tabletop and your left leg up to meet it. If you're balanced, you'll find that it's not super easy to stay here. So if you're tired, this happens a lot. Now my back is pressed into the mat. If I come out a little bit, I can feel that I'm just balanced on the sacrum. So I'm hoping that helps out when I suggest this. Now I'm just gonna bring my gaze back to the ceiling as I tap one leg down at a time. And right away, if you find this to be too much for you in the morning, start down here and lift one leg up at a time from here. And notice wherever you're choosing to start from here it's easier to let the hips wobble. Can you maintain stabilization of your pelvis? And from here, you really can tell, because you should feel your abdominal muscles helping you stay stable. So at any point, you can always change it up. Try for pointing, but I cramped up, so I flexed. Oof, cramping this morning. And then bring your legs in and wrap your hands around your shins. So staying here, draw your knees towards your head, and then simultaneously, so my left leg is going left, my right leg is going right out to the side. And then I'm going to draw them back towards each other again. So think of separating your knees away from each other and bringing them in. And it should feel really nice. Getting into those hip joints, really good if you like to go hiking or doing a lot of walking. And then reverse it. And really feel how therapeutic this is for you. And then we're all going to bring our legs back into that tabletop, hands by the mat, and just let both legs drop to the left. But as you do, if I were to put a ruler on my knees, they should match up. And then come center and let both legs drop to the right. And continue side to side, just like that. Then come center again and find where your neutral spine is and extend just your right leg out, bring it back in, left leg out, bring it back in, and continue alternating one leg at a time. Same rule applies if you're getting tired, just bring your legs up a little higher. This is a lot less stress, but I really encourage you to challenge yourself. Take your time. The slower you go, the more challenging it is. Let's do just a few more. And then you can bring your legs back into your chest and give me 3 circles out. And 3 circles in. Okay, we're going to right away place our feet on the mat, stash the foam roller under your legs, and then we're just going to go back into the pelvic tilt for a moment. Press your back into the mat, then press your tailbone down. The next time you press your back into the mat, start to lift your hips one bone at a time all the way up, and then peel your spine down one vertebra at a time, taking your time here. And really feel the massage that you can create in your spine. And then bring your feet on top of the foam roller and do it again. So start to lift your hips up. Once you get those hips up, see if you can bring your feet in towards your body. You can kind of rock it back and forth. Feel the back of your legs energizing. Hips up a little higher and slowly roll down. And then bring that roller in and peel your spine up again and let your hips rest onto the foam roller and bring your legs into tabletop. So we're going to go back to side. So when you bring your legs over towards the left, make sure your knees match up and go the same thing to the other side. So you'll see that when I go to my right, my left hip is not touching the roller. Because if I let it touch the roller, my knees would be behind each other or stacked. One would be down an inch. Now come back center. If you need to, place your feet back under the roller, on the floor, so that you could adjust your hips on the roller, and just wrap your hands around your right shin about 2 inches below the knee. I do understand some people feel too much pressure here, so if that's the case, just hands on your hamstring. So wherever it feels best to you, and straighten out that left leg. Gently bring that right knee towards your right armpit as you continue to lengthen that left leg out. So if you watch, here I'm just relaxed, here I'm lengthening out the leg, and then circle your right foot from the ankle joint. Really get into that ankle joint and reverse it. And then from here, wrap your hands behind your right leg and press your knee a little more towards the wall and begin to straighten and bend that right leg. If this is too intense for you, bend your left leg. It'll really help you be able to get into this motion. So you have to determine what feels best to you. The next time your leg is as straight as it possibly can be, you're going to walk your hands up maybe a little higher and start to pull that right leg towards you. And notice my left leg came off the floor, and I'm treating it like my legs are on a teeter-totter, and I'm going back and forth. I'm doing my best to keep that left leg straight. And I feel a nice stretch in the hip flexor, but I also feel my abs kicking in again. Then from here, I'm going to bend my right leg, slide my left leg in, and switch sides. And I'm doing it that way so I don't over pull something. So hands on the left shin, right leg straight, and circle your left foot from the ankle joint. Good. And reverse it. Then hands behind your left hamstring and start to point and flex that foot. Same thing, if it's too tight, just bend your right leg. Then straighten out that leg and walk your hands higher. So the minute I walk my hands higher, my right leg wants to come off the floor. I'm still trying my best to allow it to relax and just start your teeter-totter. So you just pull in a little and just let everything kind of work together. So think about it this way. I'm not lifting and lowering my right leg at all. I am pulling my left leg in, and my right leg naturally comes up. That feels a lot better than the demonstration I just showed you. So you want to feel the stretch happening. Now let your right leg come back down to the floor, slide it in, bring both feet down. If you need to, lift your hips and find that balance again. And we're going to bring both legs up find that balance on the sacrum as you lift your feet to the sky. And from here, just start like cross-country skiing. Really lengthening through the legs. And notice if something doesn't feel quite right, like if you're feeling like you have a click or something in your hip, just don't go as far to start and work through it. See where you can go, and then start bicycling those legs. You only go down as far as it feels okay to you. Reverse the bicycles. And now you're going to go back up to your legs towards the ceiling. And I want you to go back to the cross-country skiing. And we're going to go 1, 2. Then you're going to draw a semicircle around, like you're drawing a giant circle. And then again, single, single, draw the circle. Single, single, draw it around. Single, single, draw it around. Single, single, draw it around. Single, oops, cramping, draw it around. 2 more. Single, single, draw it around. 1 more. Single, single, draw it around, and bend your knees. So most of you did that really well. So we're going to lift our hips up, remove the roller. And your choice. I'm going to grab my hamstrings for the first one. As you press your toes to the wall in front of you, start to roll up 1 vertebra at a time to sitting. Since we're already sitting, extend your legs straight and look at your mat. Your heels should be at the corners of your mat, maybe a little wider. If you can see yourself in the screen or a mirror, just notice where your body is in space. So a good test is you could grab a foam roller and see if you can connect the back of your head, the rib cage, and the pelvis again, like you're laying on your back. You don't have to do that. It's just an illustration, because what I see 9 out of 10 times is this or this. And it's just recognizing where your body sits in space, and we want optimal alignment. So from here, go ahead, bring the soles of your feet together, and we're going to sit up tall again. Draw your knees towards the earth, and then see if you can pull yourself forward. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, see if you can come down a little lower. Come back up to sitting tall. Come back to that position where you're wide like this. Arms come out to the side. So we're not going out to the side like this. I'm right in line with my shoulder joint. And we're going to all twist towards the left. And I'm just twisting from my ribs. So instead of using my arms to go back, I'm going from my rib cage, and that's about it for me. And then we're going to go to the right. And I just want you to go a little left and right. If you need a little more guidance here, go ahead and make your arms like you're a genie and keep the wrists centered with the middle of your body. And that will give you an idea of where your position should be. Because once I twist to the left, this is it, but if I brought my elbows out, I'm pulling myself off alignment. So I'm really working from the ribs. And you should actually feel a little ab work happening. And if it's really challenging for you to sit up on those sit bones, you can take a towel or a mat or something and put it under your behind to give yourself a little more support. Okay, so take the foam roller, place it here. Coming forward, rest your shoulder blades on the foam roller. So think about where this feels the best to you. Anywhere between the bottom or the top of your shoulder blades is a good place. Before you start going back, let your head rest into your hands. So I like to think about if I was sitting in a big room watching some sort of presentation on a screen and there was nothing but rollers or balls, I would sit and stack myself up like this just to give myself a break. Now from here, lift your hips a tiny bit, and notice you could barely tell I lifted my hips. Try not to go this high. You're just about here so that you can give yourself the ability to roll up and down that roller. And it should feel really nice. Now find that spot between your shoulder blades that feels the best place for you. Let your hips come down and think of exhaling as you bring your head, neck, and shoulders towards the floor. Inhale, take a moment, and then on your next exhale, lift yourself back up. So as you're doing this, you can see how it feels to you, and maybe you think, I don't like it there. I'm going to come up a little higher. And just find that spot that feels the most beneficial to you. And maybe you can easily get your head to the floor and you want to stay here. And once you get down, then you can open your elbows and you get a deeper stretch. It should feel really nice. If you're able to stay here like this, exhale and see if you can gently press your back down a little. Then inhale, let it release. Exhale, gently press down a little. Inhale, release. One more time, press down a little bit. Inhale, release. Exhale, lift your head, neck, and shoulders. Grab your hands behind your hamstrings. Come all the way up. Come to your hands and knees. Come to the very back of the mat. And the roller's going to be right behind your knees. And we're going to walk our way forward so that we're on our forearms. Watch if you feel your lower back. My guess is you let your back drop. I'm not going to demonstrate this anymore because my back should not be in that position. But you can see that I'm in one long line and I'm not dipping in the middle of my lower back. Now you're just going to roll from your hip flexors all the way to right above your knees. And I'm bending my knees only because I'm hitting the wall. So I want to get deeper into my quadriceps. So it's fine if you want to. It doesn't matter either way. Actually, as I bend my knees, I can feel it deeper in the quads. And I also feel my abdominal muscles working. And I feel my shoulders being stable. If you feel it's too scary for you here, just take a moment and play around with it, but really watch that you're stable. Then from here, you can release the roller and take it in front of you and just slowly roll forward. And I'm right in my forearms and my hips are over my knees, and I'm going to let my chest drop again. So I'm really in my upper back, and it's pretty intense. So if this is too much for you, don't do it. Ease your way towards it. As you exhale, press your belly button to your back to roll back up. Come back forward, open up that chest. Exhale, roll up, and really find the positioning that works best for you. One more time, all the way up. And we're going to go ahead and come to the top of the mat and do a couple cat-cows. So you're going to exhale, belly button, ooh, cramp it up, and inhale, release from the chest. So what I'm doing is trying to stretch out a cramp I'm having in my right leg. Ideally, you're here. Then stay center and go ahead, bring that right leg back. Toes are curled under. So I have a lot of mobility in my foot like that. I want us all to be more like this and kind of gently rock forward and back, getting into your calf, getting into the toes. Then stay here, keep those hips even, point the toes and lift them up, cramping again, and tap and lift. Stay here, bend your knee in, and pulse up for 4, 3, 2, 1. Cross your right knee behind your left knee and open the legs to the opposite edges of the mat. Only if it feels okay to you. Start to sit back here and get a nice stretch in your left hip. Then come back forward and unwind. Then from here, send your left foot back and be on the ball of your foot. And you're just gonna slowly go back and forth, getting that stretch in the arch, getting the stretch in your calf. Find your center, point that foot up and all the way up, leg is up, and just tap down and up. Notice if you're starting to let your belly drop. Just 4 more like this. 3, 2, 1. Keep the leg here, bend the knee and pulse for 4, 3, 2, 1. Cross that knee behind the other knee. Kick your feet out and sit back into your hips and get a stretch in that right hip. Depending on what's happening for you, you might even feel it in your lower back a little. Come back up, and from here, just extend your right foot back and your left arm forward. Release and switch. Continue alternating your hands and feet. And you can pick how you do your toes. Either one is fine. And then center here and take your hands and aim your fingers towards your body. Hopefully everybody can do that. I feel this big time in my thumbs and my wrists. And if it feels okay, sit back a little, and boy, are my thumbs screaming. And come back forward a little. I don't want too much. If it's too much, take a moment. Oof. 1 more. Release your hands forward. Pick up your right arm and lace it underneath you to thread the needle, looking under your left arm. Keep your hips even and hopefully resting on that shoulder. You can always put a pillow or something there to help support you. So take your time here. And on your next breath, come back up and switch sides. Left arm up, lace underneath you. Do your best to keep your hips even. Take a couple deep breaths here. Come back center. And we're going to go ahead and bring our right foot between our hands and find the place that feels best to you. If you need, you can put a cushion under your knee and feel as if you're trying to lift your belly button off of your thigh. Then slide your hips back and then come forward. So we're going to take our time. A nice thing you can do if you have them handy is you can use a couple yoga blocks. That'll help lift you up a little more. And everybody should feel hamstring when they come back. Come back center. Place your left hand on the floor, your right hand on your thigh. As you press your hand into your thigh, look up to the sky. Unravel and take your time to switch legs. So I think of cat pose. I take an exhale and I lift as I bring my foot forward so I can get into the position. And same thing, I feel a lifting in my belly as I start to go back and forth. Then come forward, right hand on the floor, left hand on your left leg. As you press your hand into your leg, look to the sky. Take a deep inhale, exhale, release. Come back and have a seat facing forward. Squeeze your hands and release them. Squeeze again and release. One more time, really open them wide. And again, just gently pull your fingers back towards you and switch. Take your shoulders, roll them up, back, and down. Sit tall, look to the right. Come center, look to the left. So as you're looking to the left, pull back a little with your right arm. I'm holding on to my shins. Come back center. So let's do that again. So I'm going to hold my left hand is on my left shin. As I turn my head to the right, I'm pulling my arm back, using my shin as stabilization. And one more time to the left. I hope you can feel this in your neck in a very therapeutic way. So we're going to bring our thumbs to our hearts, taking a moment to feel the connection within ourselves and each other. Let's go deep into our super conscious minds. Bring your thumbs to your third eye. I wish you all love, peace, joy, and wonderful good health always. Namaste. And I invite you to unmute. I'm going to end the recording.